So, what is plot armor? Definitely one of the most used and often misused terms nowadays when it comes to storytelling. Oh, this character just has a bunch of plot armor. Oh, he only made it to the end of the story because of plot armor. I guarantee you've definitely heard it somewhere before. What is the actual definition of it, though? There's a few different ones all around the internet, but the closest we have to an official definition is this: a phenomenon in fiction where a character is allowed to survive dangerous situations because they are needed for the plot to continue. Sounds simple enough, yet the term still gets used incorrectly. For one thing, a character getting out of a dangerous situation doesn't automatically mean he has plot armor. Let's say there's a situation where a highly skilled swordsman gets cornered by a group of let's say 20 random people, and they jump him, but he fights his way out, kills them all, and strolls away. Would you call that plot armor? Well, obviously not. He would be a pretty fucking useless swordman if he couldn't beat up a bunch of randoms that tried to square up with him. It's still a dangerous situation that he got out of, though. So wouldn't it fit in with that official definition of plot armor? That's the reason I really don't like that definition. It's not specific enough. For me, I only count something as plot armor if there's ridiculous leaps in logic or stuff that doesn't really make sense happens in order for the characters to survive. When shit starts getting pulled out of the writer's ass to keep a character alive, that's when I know the work of plot armor has come into play. Need a few examples? No problem. Let's play a quick game called Is That Plot Armor? In Captain America Winter Soldier, when Bucky escapes from the German feds, is there a lot of plot armor? Hell yeah. They got all them guns and they only managed to shoot this dude in his metal arm. Gun-related plot armor are always the funniest kind, to be honest, because usually it just consists of fodder enemies having unbelievably ass aim. Look at the Stormtroopers, for example. That time Ozilla fed Aang a chest full of lightning, was that plot armor? That's a tricky one. Logically, Aang should have died, and he would have if the plot didn't need him to continue. But they did provide a solid reason for his survival. Was it a bit of an ass pull? I mean, yeah, sort of. Aang was in his most vulnerable state, the Avatar state, and he ate that bull straight up, no deflection, no nothing. But the healing water did have some precedent in the show, so it was less of an ass pull than other things. Something that's not really plot armor, though, would be something like, let's say Naruto's talk no jutsu, quote unquote, at least in most situations. Obviously, it seems unrealistic for a kid to always be able to just use words to make villains say, hold on, maybe I am tweaking. It's kind of the point, though. Deep down, everybody's not evil, and there's always a reason for their action. Pain is an example people always use when they try to use the talk no jutsu plot armor argument against him, but y'all forgetting, Naruto already whacked dude. The real plot armor in this situation would be the Nine Tails, because Pain had Naruto beat before, but he's always in Naruto, so it's more of a permanent plot shield, which isn't really an issue. The plot obviously has to continue, which can't happen if Naruto fucking dies. That brings me to the next point. Is plot armor necessarily a bad thing? I mean, it can be. When it becomes obvious that the writer is constantly coming up with bare bullshit to keep certain characters alive, it can get kind of annoying. It became an epidemic with Batman over the years, and the more time passes, the more outlandish it became until it's sort of a joke at this point. I personally find it amusing how many ridiculous ways they can find to get Batman through stories. He's damn near a gag character now. There was this one story I was reading, it came out kind of recently, and I'm gonna find the panels and put them here, but Batman literally fell to Earth from space in his regular batsuit and walked it off. Yes, I'm dead ass. It was the stupidest shit I've ever read in my life, but I'm also at the point where I don't really care anymore. Once you accept that writers are gonna make Batman do nonsensical shit, it just becomes funny how far they take it. They're over here talking about some calculations while falling from space. He should be mush regardless, bro. What the fuck are we talking about, you dork? That was just a joke. I love Chip, one of the best Daredevil writers of all time. Plot abilities are another form of plot armor that's kinda hilarious when you notice it, but usually annoying and lazy. New powers that a character gets that are conveniently perfect for his current predicament. Itachi in Naruto was a perfect example of this. This guy was pulling new abilities out of his ass every time he showed up. Torture hallucinations, then unquenchable fire, then a giant warrior avatar, a weapon that can seal anything it slices, then a magical mirror that can block anything, then illusion time loops. It was fucking wild. But plot armor can also be fun and interesting. Breaking Bad, for example, has a lot of plot armor. Realistically, the show probably doesn't even make it to the end of season 1 before Walt and Jesse get caught. Walt fucks up too many times, and Hank and the rest of the feds are extremely, absurdly incompetent on numerous occasions just for the sake of keeping the story going. There was a bunch of different points where Hank's ignorance of Walt reaches ridiculous points where it's really, really stretching our imagination to think he didn't suspect him. It was funny though, whenever Hank got close and then refused to suspect Walt just because it was Walt. And at the end of the day, it made for a fun story. Stretching realism isn't a big deal. It's also fun when writers intentionally undermine plot armor and bait the audience into thinking a character is going to survive just to pull the rug out from under us, especially when a character is central to the plot. In The Boys, one of the biggest things is the shock factor with sudden and unexpected deaths and freaky shit, but even they stray away from central characters, and there's very clearly a shit ton of plot armor that protects the characters that matter. I'm not that far on Game of Thrones, so don't spoil nothing past the end of season 2 for me, but one of my favorite twists ever is Ned Stark saying goodbye to his head. Logically, a character getting murdered when he's on his knees surrounded by enemies about to be executed wouldn't be a huge shocker, but come on, we all know that usually a main character finds their way out of those situations. They fight their way out and escape by the skin of their teeth, or they talk their way out and buy themselves more time. First time I seen this shit, which was literally like a month ago, I seen him looking around and I'm like, bet, what we doing, Ned? Nope, they just cracked him and moved on. I was sick. Moral of the story is, plot armor can be good, plot armor can be bad. Too much of it can get annoying. Not enough of it can turn your story into a boring slaughterhouse where everyone is just dying. I do think we gotta stop acting like it's the end of the world if a character slips out of a few sticky situations. The story obviously can't just end there. Come on, let the writers rock, bruh.